Hello, welcome to one more episode of SandDunes by Entrepreneur Middle East, the premier conversation on virtual assets in the UAE and beyond. It is my pleasure to have with me today Vineet Budki, CEO and managing partner of 𝗗𝗟𝗦𝗡𝗥 Capital, but quite a recognizable name and face in the UAE entrepreneurial ecosystem already for quite a few years now. Hello, Vineet. Welcome to SandDunes.
Hi, Tamara. Good to meet you, and thank you for inviting me.
Tell me, let's go back to the beginnings of your entrepreneurial journey as a whole, because you had quite a successful career before your current position. So tell me about Vineet Budki. Who is he, and what he has done before current stage of his life?
Okay, so Tamara, I came to Dubai 21 years back as a crew with Emirates Airlines, and had the best 4 years of my life just before 2007. Landed up to do my MBA in the US and came back and started doing startups. In fact, my first startup ended up becoming the biggest e-commerce distribution for a satellite TV company in India. And then a few years later, I built up one of the first e-commerce distribution for tours and activities, the travel space. And I think that was the first time we met 8 years back when I was doing this event known as Startups on a Yacht, where we got a lot of startup founders and investors on a yacht, because the investors couldn't run away from the yacht and the startups could pitch to them. And that's how I have been in startup space for a long time. More as a guy who built these startups up. My last startup was $500,000 in revenue, 70 people strong. Unfortunately, COVID came and travel got killed. And that's how 2020, July 2020, I ended up in the crypto space because I had to take up a role in a mining company. 2 months later, started investing in Web3. October of 2020, someone randomly gave me $10 million to invest, and I built up the first VC fund in the region, which was investing in digital assets. That fund did quite well. Again, that same gentleman, 2.5 years back, ended up giving me $100 million to invest, and the key fund got built up in this region, which was known as the Cypher Capital. Everyone in the region knows about Cypher Capital. We did close to 130 investments. And it's been a great 4-year journey. And 6 months back, decided to set up a fully regulated LPGP fund known as 𝗗𝗟𝗦𝗡𝗥 Capital. And that's my journey, investing in space.
So this is just bullet points of what you're about to hear more.
Yeah.
So let's first the question that everybody keeps on asking, and you're a good person to answer: is crypto real? What would you say?
Crypto is 100% real. What I have been seeing, now that I've shifted, I'm building a new fund where normal people, family offices and people who are not in crypto are coming in. This is a really strong question that they ask: is crypto all speculation? Unfortunately, I think crypto is real. It's just too early. People know about Bitcoin, people know about Ethereum. And in fact, I would tell people, even people who are listening, that next time when you hear someone saying that I bought Ethereum, just ask them, what does Ethereum do? 95% of the times when people tell me they are into web crypto, and I ask them, okay, you know what Uber does, you know what Facebook does, but do you know what Ethereum does? I don't get an answer. So yes, crypto is real. It is probably the early stages of Web 2 as well. When Amazons.com and the Web 3 and the Web 2 crash happened, adoption is going to come as we go along in the next 5-10 years. And yes, real companies are getting built, and this is as real as it can be.
Okay, tell us then about 𝗗𝗟𝗦𝗡𝗥 Capital. You decided to set up a new fund in Dubai. Why Dubai? I know you're based here, but still you could have set it up anywhere. Tell me about the setting up process, licensing process, so that entrepreneurial side, you as an entrepreneur in setting up a new business in this space in Dubai.
So, yes, 𝗗𝗟𝗦𝗡𝗥 Capital is a new fund, $100 million fund. I am expected to announce the first close, $25 to $30 million first close next month. We have got the investors on board.
That's July 2025.
August, yes.
Okay.
So it will again invest in the same digital asset space. I'm expecting to do 120 to 140 investments in the next 2 years, just like I've been doing in the past. Why Dubai is interesting? Because Dubai is in the forefront of everything, What I've seen Dubai doing is it always takes innovation by itself. It doesn't wait for change. When COVID came and everybody was shutting off. In fact, I learned my crypto in Singapore. Singapore shut down. Dubai just opened up to the world. They said, come build up companies. They came up with regulations. DMCC had regulations. Today, other locations in Dubai, ADGM is giving regulations. So with Dubai, the interesting part is first, it is open to change. Second, regulations are getting stronger. Third, it has access to markets. Africa is nearby. Adoption markets like Africa and India are nearby. Third, there's capital around. Saudi has capital, Qatar has capital, UAE has capital. So it's an ideal place where crypto can grow. So that's why for us, this place is interesting. Our fund is a Cayman LPGP fund, but it has it has a office here where we will be setting up our teams and building up the processes as such. And Dubai is the future.
Dubai is the place to be.
Yes.
Why I'm asking this? Because one of the missions with SandDunes by Entrepreneur Middle East is actually to promote what the UAE is doing in this space, and it's really taking bold steps forward, but in a regulated and structured way. I've done a few interviews for our new series, this one already, and what's interesting is every time I like to ask the beginnings of those people, their beginnings in understanding what crypto is and their first exposure to crypto. And it's a source of wonderful anecdotes and a lot of interesting details from their lives. So what was your when you personally first encountered crypto, if you remember it? What was your first reaction? What was interesting about it?
So interestingly, I learned about crypto when I was doing my travel startup. There was this, I used to sell tours and activities, and there was this guy who ended up buying a helicopter ride for 12, 13 people, and he was taking a limo for 12 hours. And, I thought he's a scammer. His name was Goldie. I personally I went to the Grand Hyatt. This was in 2017, just to take that money. The charge for that was around 100,000 dirhams. And that is the first time I got introduced to crypto. And that time, I think Bitcoin was $1,000 and Ethereum was $45. I really didn't understand. But, just because this guy tried to make me understand something and said, just put some money in. I entered into crypto that time, but it was very random. When BTC after that from 1,000 went to 20,000 and Ethereum went to 1,600, I really thought that there's something in it, but I didn't follow up much. As time went along, I understood a bit more when I met a lot of founders in Singapore. And in 2020, when I finally started full time, I got to understand a bit more. And that's what I tell people, crypto is not a magic coin. Crypto is real founders trying to build real stuff. And, a lot of family offices have been asking me that, how real is it? There's nothing tangible around it. Please understand, when someone invests in an equity of a company, he's investing in the future revenue of the company. That means tomorrow when this company will do $1 billion, they will get dividends from there. But when you are investing in a token of a company, you're investing in earning the future process. What it means is Binance today as an exchange does $10 billion of revenue. Trading fee happens on the Binance coin. Tomorrow, when this does $100 billion of transactions, that coin will be needed more. And that's where the value of this coin goes. So one is ownership of revenue and one is ownership of process. And that's what we are investing in. If the process becomes big, we will end up having assets which will be valued a lot more. And people say, is it too late to come in? Bitcoin is at $100,000. Please understand, if you look at Crypto.com's last report, 500 million people exist in crypto right now. 90% are speculating. They have not used Ethereum, Solana, or anything to do any real world transaction. The day this 5% ends up becoming 10, 15%, that is when this industry will become the Web2 industry of today. And that's the future. And that's what I'm excited about.
Well, usually what we hear more and more is exactly this. There are no real-life cases, enough real-life use cases for people to tangibly understand what it is about. So what kind of decks do you see? What's happening in the space? Give us an overview from your side. Where it's going, what is now trendy.
Okay, so there are definitely a lot of use cases. Not knowing doesn't mean that they don't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll give you an example. There's a company known as 𝗗𝗚𝗏.com. 𝗗𝗚𝗏.com is like a bank on chain. 2 months back when I started raising capital for this fund, it was sitting at $25 billion of deposits. $25 billion in digital assets have been deposited there to earn yield and lend and borrow. World's 62nd biggest bank. Today it is standing at $40 billion of deposit. So if you have $100,000 US, you can go over there, deposit that money and safely generate a yield of around 5%. Maybe you sitting in the US don't see value of it because you can make that 4% from Citibank as well. But imagine a guy who's sitting in Zimbabwe where he doesn't have access to the US banking system, or in Lebanon. The same guy goes with his $10,000. He sees to it that his currency doesn't depreciate. He sees to it that 5% is generated. So this is one use case. And there are multiple. I'll give you other examples as well. In India, the government understood that whenever they are sending some subsidies to the farmers, a lot of things get stolen. So they basically took the biometrics, made it into a card known as Aadhaar card and linked a bank account to it. So now a subsidy to a farmer goes through the Aadhaar card into a bank account. So, stealing has reduced a lot. Now, similarly, in the world of AI, Sam Altman, who has built ChatGPT and OpenAI, understands that when I'm sitting on the other side of the computer, I don't know whether it's a person or it's Tamara on that side or it's a AI generated image. So he came up with a coin known as WorldCoin. Now, WorldCoin builds these orbs that take your biometrics and makes it into a hash rate. Tomorrow, when you are signing into your Zoom, maybe you will have to sign it from that hash rate, proving that it is you. Now, understand there are so many use cases. Tokenizing of real estate is one use case. It's happening all around the place. Games, kids play games and, they make these skins on Fortnite. They make these characters on Fortnite. And these characters are owned by the game. Tomorrow in Web3 games, you can own your characters. You can earn money from them. People, like I generate these characters and I can sell it to people. I can make a sword and sell it to someone. So there are a lot of use cases which are building up. It's just that people are unaware of it. And that's why I say...
And don't understand them, to be honest.
And that's why I say in 10 years later, these adoption cases will be real. And hopefully that time I'll be the 𝗗𝗜𝗦𝗖𝗟𝗔𝗜𝗠𝗘𝗥 or SoftBank of that time.
Most probably you will. What type of founders? Let's talk about the community, the crypto community. Here, regionally and around the world, it's still a small world, but not that small. So what type of founders are you looking to support? What is maybe different among them? Who do you see will lead in the future?
So see, when I'm looking into investing into companies, founders become very critical. Everybody gets 10,000 ideas in a day. So how does an idea become Amazon or become a Tesla is by the founders. What capacity and capability do these founders have? For me, the founder has to have some expertise in what he's doing. If you're trying to build an online bank, you should have some experience on how banking runs. You should have some technology background. You or your CTO should have some technology background. So that is the capacity and capability part. Capability means that you can build something like that. And capacity means the bandwidth of it. Unfortunately, startup is a 24/7 job. You have to leave your world to build a startup. So do you have the capacity to leave everything and focus on building a startup? That's what I look in founders before investing in them. I look at their motivations. I look at what their product market plan is, how they're going to build, and then I invest.
And about investors, this is how different are investors in the crypto space as opposed to traditional venture investing, not in terms of processes and how the things function, but because it's more like some business principles are the same. But what do you see? Who is bold enough to join this space, or who has been bold enough for years ago to support this space? Who are the ones that are pushing the sector forward, and maybe the ones who are not? What do you see among the investor community?
So see, when you look at the investor community, most of these investors are the ones who made early gains through digital assets. I like calling it digital assets. So I think Pantera, Dan Moore had bought some Bitcoin in years back, and suddenly Bitcoin went crazy, and he understood that crypto has a space. And today Pantera is a $5-8 billion fund. So there are multiple such people who entered into crypto or Web3 or digital assets and made some substantial gains and understood the future. And then they started investing in it. Slowly, a lot of traditional investors, 𝗗𝗜𝗦𝗖𝗟𝗏 has started investing in this space. And there are other investors who are coming in. And now with the ETFs, a lot of institutional adoption is coming in. But when you look at core investors who come, these are guys who understood Web3, have made some amazing gains. For me, luckily the first fund went well, so I understood it. And then the guy who gave me money, he understood. He gave me another $100 million. And it's still those younger people who get excited with how big this industry can become that invest.
What use cases are you now interested in the most? What do you think is currently important? What you're focused on now when reviewing your future investments?
So in the last 2-3 years when Bitcoin was going around 18, 20, 50,000, we were investing more on infrastructure play. That means billions of users will come to Web3, but they should have an infrastructure to support it. So we invested in things like 𝗗𝗜𝗦𝗖𝗟𝗏. 𝗗𝗜𝗏 was a blockchain that was being built by an ex-team out of Facebook. Facebook was building Libra. The guy who used to head it Even Cheng ended up building Sui. So we invested in such infrastructure-driven projects. In fact, one of the other projects that I invested was, when you have to make wallets, you need to remember your 12-digit wallet seed phrase. Now, there is a company out of Singapore which is known as Web3 Auth. You don't need that. You can just log in through a Google login. We invested in stuff like that. Today, Web3 Auth just got acquired by Consensus. It is part of MetaMask now.
Okay.
Now, at that time, we were looking at how can the infrastructure scale up and we can invest them. But now we are looking at, okay, the infrastructure is in place. What things will get millions of users on board? So I'm looking at things like real world assets, stable coins, identity, real world assets, anything and everything that gets more users excited, not to speculate, but to use Web3 and digital assets. That's what I'm looking at.
It will increase adoption and understanding and education going forward. Yeah. Over the years, you've been through a few ups and downs with the sector. What have you, and crypto is known for its winter and other season, right? What have you learned from each?
So what I've learned is, again, when you say crypto has its up and downs, there's a reason for that. Yeah. As I said, only 5% of the world population is in Web3. So it is a very concentrated asset class. In 20 years, it will be spread across 20%. So the volatility, in stock markets, volatility or a bear market means 20% or down. In crypto, volatility means 80% or down. The bear market comes. So today, because it's concentrated, it's there. But in the future, it will sort of map the stock markets, and it is going to be bigger because it is cross-border stock markets. Today, I sitting in Uganda might not be able to invest in Apple in New York Stock Exchange, but through Web3, I sitting in anywhere in the world can invest.
24/7. Yeah.
So it will have more liquidity, it will have more cross-border participation. But what I have learned in this industry, you invest when everyone's running away. Please understand, Bitcoin tomorrow, if in the next 1.5, 2 years, if you see Bitcoin going to 150, 200K in the next 6-9 months, and you see Bitcoin again falling down to 60, 70K, if you see, I'm not saying it will happen, but I say, that doesn't mean that the utility of Bitcoin has gone off. That just means that price is not reflecting value. This is the time that you should be investing. So when the last crash happened, people in Dubai know that I had a bet when BTC was at 62 that it's going to 25K, and the other guy was saying it's going to 70K. When this price started falling, people said, is Bitcoin going to end? The whole question is, anything that has utility does not end. So please understand, learnings from here is, when everyone's running away and utility still exists, don't back off. Go to the front foot and invest. Meet founders, find great founders, invest. If you believe in this industry.
But this is the crucial, what you said, the other part of the sentence. If utility still exists and utility is there, and within all the panic, people forget about the real reason for that something exists.
No, so it's not that people forget the real reason. See, that's what I said. 95% of people I met in the last 4 months, I asked them, what does Ethereum do? I have not gotten an answer. True. I have not gotten an answer what Ethereum does. And I have actually broken it down, And this is the best example of explaining crypto to people. When you go to a shop and ask for a Pepsi, the guy gives you a Pepsi. This is real world transaction. When you go to a vending machine, put $1 and put D16 and press a button, a Pepsi comes. This vending machine is a smart contract, which is governing your code transaction. Ethereum is a contract on which smart contracts are built. These smart contracts are built, which will do lending, borrowing, insurance, identity, and a lot of things in the future. This is what Ethereum is. It is a smart contract platform. Like Wix is a platform to build websites. Ethereum is like Yahoo generation 1. Solana is like Google generation 2. Sui is like generation 3, say, Facebook. I don't know which one will become the future Google. But these are real companies building real stuff that will change the way you transact. So people don't know this.
Interesting. Yeah, it's true what you're saying, that although even among people who are involved in the space, they don't dedicate enough time to understanding and really educating themselves practically what it is all about.
Unfortunately, people who have been in this industry don't even know what Bitcoin does. They think Bitcoin is a way to transfer money from point A to point B. It is not. Bitcoin is an asset. Bitcoin is a store of value. People say about layer 2s being built on Bitcoin, so smart contracts. You don't make hammers out of gold. Gold is a way to store value. People say Bitcoin is limited to 21 million Bitcoin. That's why it has value, because it's rare. No, sir. Gold is not rarer than titanium and platinum. assets are built on perception, which Bitcoin has formed, and it is not a way to buy Pepsi or coffee in the market. It is a way, you will sell your house to buy gold. You will sell gold to buy a house. You will not sell your house to go on a holiday. So asset to expense doesn't happen. Bitcoin is not a way to buy coffee.
Okay.
People don't understand this.
Okay, we are past that. We have interesting examples of Bitcoin pizza, right? But now we are past that phase a lot, right?
Yes.
You've worked around the globe.
Yes.
And decided to be based in Dubai. Tell me, let's go talk macroeconomics at the moment. How do you see different regulators around the world? How do you see what's happening in Europe? What's happening in the US? In the US is now too pro-crypto, some would say. It was quite restrictive before. Europe has its own challenges. Dubai is really, and actually the UAE is becoming a place that is going hand in hand with these innovators in, as I said, a regulated and structured way. Singapore, Hong Kong. Give us your overview of the world at the moment.
So, because I travel globally and I've been seeing these changes, everyone's so pro-US because US has started crypto. I was at FII in Miami and everyone's saying that US is the center of crypto now. See, I would say US being center of crypto didn't come from Trump. It came from the ETFs. ETFs got announced 2 years back when World Economic Forum was happening. It happened a week before that. And suddenly, normal people started believing in crypto. So ETFs have this advantage that they started making normal people believe in Web3. So that was the initiation. Trump, with his pro policies, has actually made people much more interested about crypto. There is a plus and a minus, which I mentioned in Miami in FII as well. The plus and minus is that, he took us one step ahead by saying crypto is real. But then he took us 2 steps back by launching meme coins. Meme coins is nothing but Wolf of Wall Street penny stocks. What Steve, what's the name? Jordan Belfort used to sell. It is exactly that. They have no use. There's no founders. There's nothing. It's just built on hype.
I think Trump, it was his PR thing more than.
See, the thing is,
it's typical for him, I would say.
No, but see, I love him because I saw the movie The Apprentice and I understand his thought process. He's an amazing guy. He wants to do great stuff. But as a president of a country, you can build legacy. The point is, you can build the US into a superpower on Web3 digital asset space, and you have to understand what you're doing. If you put Cardano in a treasury and understanding that there are no smart contracts on Cardano, not much, then unfortunately you don't understand the industry. So as a president, you really need to have a hold of what is happening. So that is where he takes us 2 steps behind.
This is a note to his advisors, to be honest. Yeah, more than
See, there are 10,000 web digital assets. Some of them are really adopted and really doing stuff. You should get them on board. Ripple. Have you used Ripple for anything? Ripple is a technology that is used to do bank A to bank B transfers. Where does the coin come in place? Now, after 6 years, they have come up with a stable coin concept. They're trying to build a chain, which is true. But when you're building up the reserve, you need to have real companies that are building real stuff, right? Not everything. So, but again, intent is great. He's making us all rich. So
he's getting there.
Yeah. So, but just that, if you look at The Apprentice, you understand that his intent has always been good. He built up the Trump Tower in. He built up the Grand Hyatt to make New York into the big place. He then made Trump Tower, and then he went ballistic with Atlantic City. So I hope he chills out and builds up a much more sustainable growth. But yeah, he's great. I love what he has done.
Okay. But it's interesting it's important to hear this kind of this is constructive feedback, right? Like this is what we all need to know more. Behind the headlines, right? And behind the news.
See, for me, I don't follow US. I'm not from the US. I'm from India. When in India, there are 2-3 prime ministers who have built a legacy. How many Indian prime ministers do you know? You know Narendra Modi, I'm pretty sure everyone. He's building a legacy. Trump has that option to build a legacy that 100 years later people remember him. For that, there has to be some thought and strategy and logic, right?
Okay, maybe it will come fully. And tell me about other jurisdictions. What do you see apart from the US?
Apart from US, because we discussed about our fund and that's some part of the strategy as well. I will be building up crypto hubs around the world where crypto is big. So where is crypto? US is one place. New York, not really San Francisco, but New York. Lisbon, Portugal is really big on crypto. Zug used to be big, but I haven't seen amazing innovation. Zug has its own set of challenges. So Lisbon is a place where you find a lot of founders. Dubai is definitely one. And these are places where I'm building my future hubs. Singapore is great. Hong Kong is great. Bali has been an awful, relaxed atmosphere where you build up crypto stuff. Bangalore has been big. Two places where I will build up my presence, and they're not there in crypto, but I know they will be there in the next 4 or 5 years, is Doha and Riyadh.
Okay.
So
in the region, yeah.
In the region. So for me, these 8-9 places is where Hong Kong has started up doing the regulation part. Singapore has some idea on how to build up companies. Lisbon, definitely. These are places where you find a lot of crypto founders, and regulations are sort of not like Dubai, but definitely somewhere there.
Yeah. And what do you think? What's next for the industry? What you will be when it comes to trends, like more general assumptions for near or far future? But in near or far future, it's hard to define in this sector because it moves so fast. It can, in a year, everything can change.
So me as an investor who runs a fund, I look at a 5-year horizon, 5 to 10-year horizon. I think adoption will come. Today, we need to cross those billion users and then go to 5 billion users. And when that user base is come, there will be a lot of gains that can be. Imagine you are in 1990s and you find out Google.
Okay.
So from an investor perspective, you find those billion-dollar opportunities. From growth perspective, founders can build great companies that will become Google tomorrow. So I see on a longer term, this is the industry to be in. When everyone's been talking about AI, people have to understand AI and digital assets or crypto are complementary technologies. In the future, AI will do your coffee transaction. That means AI will order a coffee for you automatically when you are thinking about it. But this transaction will get recorded in a ledger, which is known as crypto. So AI and crypto are complementary technologies because, AI doing something needs to be recorded.
Absolutely.
And that's where the future lies.
And what do you think it's currently underappreciated? What would you like people, both founders and investors, to focus on more? Any subsector, any niche part of it that you think it's not getting enough attention at the moment?
So I would see, I mentioned it a bit back, for me, the most underappreciated part is the real adoption use case. If a stable coin gets you 20% API for a year, you make 20% on your stable coin, it's not feasible. People in the US don't want a 5% because they can get it from the bank. So what is underappreciated is this founder landing up in Africa or Latin America where there are no banking systems, where there are no transaction systems, and building up companies that will scale this up and give them the stability of the US. So for me, the geographies are underappreciated in the sense people need to build for Africa, people need to build for Latin America. The second more underappreciated thing is the education part. Regulation will come in the future. First, people need to get educated on what Web3 is, what crypto is. Today, we have close to 60,000 developers in Web3. That is nothing compared to Web2. Web2 has millions of users. Who is taking that championing part and educating people to make them understand that Web3 is real? In China, Jack Ma, they say Jack Ma sent hordes of people inside China, interiors of China, to educate them to come on internet. And that's how Alibaba got people from interiors to sell online. Who in crypto has gone to Africa and made people understand that this is not just a speculative asset class, but a real use case scenario. You have 10,000 Zimbabwe dollars, convert it into dollars, $200, and earn 5% interest rate on Aave. Who has done that? Nobody. Everyone talks about shilling coins and making 100x's.
Interesting. Okay, Vineet, thank you. So let's end with some interesting advice. I want to hear from you advice for entrepreneurs from around the world who are eyeing Dubai as their next base. Because we know that a lot of them are moving to Dubai and deciding to set up here. And the last one can be your advice for retail investors, ordinary people thinking how to get involved, how to start learning, where to start from, etc. So
as you know, I've been an entrepreneur and I was in Dubai. I was based out of In5, if you remember. See, for me, entrepreneurs, I have just one advice. Dubai is not a startup nation, but a scale-up nation. That means you come here once you have $2 million in your pocket. Please understand, San Francisco, you go to your garage and set up a company and apples are found. In New York, to get that garage takes $10,000. So similarly, Dubai is the place to be, but you have to have some capital. You can scale it up because, once you have $1 million, you can set up a team, build up business development, grow for the region, and that's what Dubai is. If you come here assuming that you will come with $10, unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way. So look at Dubai as the scale-up capital of the world. Secondly, for retail, I have just one view. First, understand what you are doing. When you are investing in a Solana, please understand what it does. When you are investing in some meme coin, please understand that there's no use case to it. And once you understand that, then invest. Investment, when you buy a house, you don't go to a realtor every 2 days to check the price. Investment is a years process. You have to wait for 3-4 years before the house goes up. Similarly, investing in real companies is multi-year process. It's not, please don't read stories of someone putting $10 and becoming a millionaire. That's lottery winning. That's not investing. So be careful. Markets will always, Bitcoin's going to $1 million. I completely believe in it, but it's not going to go there directly. It will retrace. You will get your opportunities to buy. Keep liquidity in hand, especially in 2026 and 2027.
Why?
We'll see it in 26 and 27. I think markets will have a good retracement in those years.
Okay.
See, my fund is being built for those years. I clearly think there will be amazing buy opportunities. Every time people invest without knowing what it represents, there's always a retracement that comes.
I think we had a lot of investments without real understanding.
Imagine companies there were companies which were launched at $20 billion of valuation and $100 billion of valuation with zero revenue.
At the launch,
Yeah. If you have no revenue, how would you justify a 20? So overvaluations, non-understanding of people, random investing, this always is the precursor of something great. Okay. And that is where I buy.
Thank you so much, Vineet.
Thank you,
always
Tamara.
A pleasure to spend time with you and to learn from you and to have one more interview with you. This time, the first one for SandDunes by Entrepreneur Middle East. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you all for watching one more episode of SandDunes by Entrepreneur Middle East.
Thank you, Tamara. Thank you for inviting me, and great talking to you again.
Pleasure.
Thank you.